Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2CTV with some breaking news, this time from the Middle East and the conflict between Israel and the Islamists in the region. The Iranian regime have officially made a U-turn following weeks and weeks of direct threats, warnings, all the big talk coming from Tehran that within the next 48 hours or 72 hours, we will be destroying Israel. Well, the new Iranian president has now publicly come out to say the exact opposite. They are now essentially begging Israel to stop. They're now said, well, perhaps we could stop this and we are ready for peace. Let's negotiate. Ladies and gentlemen, okay, we're going to give you guys all the updates in this video. Of course, if you're watching this live, we will get your reaction as well. A lot of people before the live stream assumed that this live stream is going to be a clickbait. Nope, I am sorry to disappoint you, but it is not clickbait. It is absolutely accurate. Obviously, the Iranian president has now come out himself. Obviously, the president in Iran doesn't actually have any real power. He is the puppet of the supreme leader. So the message is essentially from the supreme leader, Khamenei, not really from the president. He's simply the puppet. Spaceman24 in the live chat says, is this live? No. If I just read your comment, I wonder if I'm live or not. All right, so what did he actually say? He said, we are willing to put all our weapons aside as long as Israel is willing to do the same. We are not seeking to destabilize the region. They are saying we're not seeking war. We do not want a war with Israel. It goes against everything that they've been saying, not just over the last few weeks, but actually over the last 40 odd years. Almost, it's getting close to 50 years now. Since 1979, the Iranian regime was established with one main mission: to wipe out the Jews, the Zionists, the state of Israel. But even the last few weeks, obviously, they've been talking a good game, let's just say. But after losing the Houthis in Yemen, after losing the Ham bottom in Gaza, and after losing, and now losing Hezbollah in Lebanon, all they have left is a bunch of amateur minion Islamists running around Syria and Iraq. That's all they have left. Now, this is what we are reporting. What I'm saying right now is I'm reporting what they are saying. If I were to speculate and translate, this could either be that they are afraid, or it could also mean that they are just stalling and they are trying to basically essentially regroup and to make sure that they have the capacity to do some sort of attack in the future. Obviously, even if they do decide to attack, they're never going to be able to defeat Israel or the West in general. We know that. So it could either be that they are absolutely terrified, which makes sense, or they think they're being clever. They're like, oh, we're going to distract you and we're going to basically say, yeah, we can negotiate. We're no longer going to attack you. Let's have peace, not destabilize the region. But in reality, they're going to do some sort of surprise attack, which again, not much will happen. Even when they did a proper attack with the stupid drones, nothing really happened anyway a few months ago. So that's going on. And now they've also said, they sent a message to the West and the Americans at the same time saying, well, Iran is ready. We are ready to start nuclear talks again. Can we do it now before Trump gets into power? Please, please, can we have the conversation now? Please. As if Trump isn't able to just rip up the deal again. No, none of this is going to get anywhere. They're just sweating. They're completely desperate right now. On the one hand saying, yeah, we could do peace with Israel. Let's just not, let's be nice. You started this, obviously, but now you're saying that we should not fight anymore. Let's be friends. Secondly, they're sending a message to the Westerners saying, well, yeah, we could do nuclear talks. You've already been enriching uranium like there's no tomorrow. Like, now you're saying, well, we don't. On the one hand, they've been going around sending a message to the world that we have nuclear. And the other hand, they've been saying before that, we don't want nuclear bomb. We just want nuclear energy. Suddenly, Iran became the advocate for nuclear energies. That was a lie. And now they're saying, we don't actually have nuclear. We could have some negotiations. For the record, Iran needs to shut up and go away. Now, Netanyahu, as we speak, also has just released a video statement directly addressing the people of Lebanon, especially those who have had to leave their residential areas because of the attacks coming from the IDF. Let's quickly go to the Prime Minister.
I have a message for the people of Lebanon. Israel's war is not with you. It's with Hezbollah. For too long, Hezbollah has been using you as human shields. It placed rockets in your living rooms and missiles in your garage. Those rockets and missiles are aimed directly at our cities, directly at our citizens. To defend our people against Hezbollah strikes, we must take out those weapons. Now, starting this morning, the IDF has warned you to get out of harm's way. I urge you, take this warning seriously. Don't let Hezbollah endanger your lives and the lives of your loved ones. Don't let Hezbollah endanger Lebanon. Please, get out of harm's way now. Once our operation is finished, you can come back safely to your homes.
Fair enough. And people in Lebanon are actually listening, unlike people in Gaza. So they actually have left their homes, and obviously going back to the IRGC, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard have now ordered all their members to halt any further use of personal communications devices. That includes their phones, mobile phones, radios, pagers, obviously walkie-talkies and everything, following last week's sabotage by Mossad. And obviously, one of the main things is that they are saying that in Iran, they are investigating to see whether there's been any infiltration inside the regime. There are also speculations, a lot of post-analysis about the former president of Iran and the helicopter crash, saying that there have been a lot of pictures, evidence showing he also had a pager. Perhaps that pager was also similar to the other pagers. Perhaps the pager went off. And perhaps that was also the test that Mossad had to do to see if the explosion works. Perhaps. We don't have the actual confirmation, but there's a lot of speculations. But in terms of going back to Lebanon, the latest images coming from the south of Lebanon and obviously around Beirut as well. Everybody's leaving, obviously evacuating the areas, and there's massive traffic right now, and the motorways, highways and everything else. And there's going to be a lot of push from the Syrian government not to support. So a lot of the people from Lebanon are actually going towards Syria, temporarily, obviously, until the IDF complete their mission against Hezbollah, which is kind of a sad irony, because a few years ago you had it literally the other way around, where people from Syria were running away towards Lebanon, but now they're going the other way around. And this is, by the way, the genuine definition of people who are vulnerable in a conflict, actual civilians in a conflict. So you go to your neighboring country, you wait there. When things get better, you go back to your country. That's what you do. You don't really get to France and get on a boat to come to the UK. So that's what these guys are doing currently. We also have this radio message. Basically, the IDF decided to infiltrate the radios in Lebanon and interrupted the actual live coverage. And they sent out this message instead, saying the IDF is targeting Hezbollah military sites in the village and does not want to harm you. If you are in a building used by Hezbollah or near one, you must leave the village to a distance of at least 1 kilometer until further notice. Anyone who is located near Hezbollah operatives or facilities is endangering themselves. Again, no other armed forces in the world does this. They don't come out to give you a warning. They don't give out any sort of a heads up in advance and then explain exactly why they're doing this. But these guys do it. Yet the IDF is also the most scrutinized armed forces in the whole world. Now, obviously, we are awaiting to see any sort of reaction from the Israeli side and the American side on what Iran has now said, which is, let's not fight anymore, let's be friends, and also let's negotiate in terms of restarting the nuclear talks. So we will give you guys all those updates. For now, let's get some reaction in the live chat. Shalom. Wow, hello, people from Israel. Actually, are you from Israel? No, it's a pound sign, so probably not Israel. Yes, he's saying hello to the Israelis. Ghost Rider. No chiefs left, only Indians. Nice. There are a number of people actually saying they don't trust the Iranian government on what they're saying. Obviously, you should never trust the Iranian government. This person said, I don't trust them. It goes back to what we were saying earlier. Why have the Iranian government and the regime come out to say this now? On the surface, it looks like they are panicking, right? On the other hand, people are saying, well, you can't trust them because that means they're probably trying to stall and distract you and regroup and then have some sort of secret plot. Even if they do, unless Iran actually has pre-prepared full nuclear bombs, there's no way they can harm Israel or the West. They don't have the capacity. Even the Chinese Communist Party, their biggest ally, have said we're not going to get involved if Iran somehow attacks the West. That's not going to happen anyway. But now, I'm not saying be complacent, obviously, but it's not a big worry. I think everybody knows they might be bluffing anyway. Coffee House says, why should we trust the Iranian government? They are the ones that are funding the terrorist groups the Islamists cheer for on the Western soil. Exactly. Yeah, they're not, for the record, what they are saying about peace and peace talks and nuclear talks, it's definitely not coming from a moral high ground. It's not coming from some sort of a civilized compassion. It's not like suddenly they're against conflict. That part is obviously a lie. Now, what we're trying to assess is, are they scared, which is likely, or are they trying to be clever and distract you and say, oh, we're going to do something naughty? Karen also says, I wouldn't trust them. As soon as your back's turned, they will attack. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that at this point, especially after last October, the IDF are on their toes. They are always on standby. The chief of staff of the IDF, this is breaking news, has now officially named the military's offensive operation against Hezbollah the Arrows of the North. That's the official name of the operation against Hezbollah by the IDF. The Arrows of the North. Not that it matters, this is just PR exercise, but in case you wanted to know what it's called. Nancy says, Maya, Iran is making Israel look like the bad guy. If they do, pull back, they will have no choice but to hit Israel. Iran is playing head games and has no remorse for their actions, no desire to stop. Yeah, exactly. I mean, as I said, they definitely don't actually want peace. They're just terrified. But I don't really think that they are making Israel look like the bad guy, because I don't think anybody sane on this planet listening to what Iran is saying tonight actually respects them. I don't think any normal human would say, because of what Iran just said, oh, lovely people from the Islamic Republic, then that means the Jews are bad. If you already hate the Jews, you already hate the Jews. Like, those who are already anti-Semitic, that they've already made up their mind anyway. I don't think it's going to actually happen. Somebody responded to what we just said about the IDF's new operation name for the operation against the Hezbollah, saying, oh, I just lost the comment. Where did it go? It was good. It said, here we go, boring. It should be Operation FAFO. That's F around and find out. Nice. Music and Fiction says the GCC gave Iran a little nudge to sue for peace. There's going to be more speculations over the next 24 hours after what Iran have now said. It's interesting how the United Nations are very quiet on this. Because we know what they're doing. We know exactly what they're doing, because the United Nations are also controlled by the vested interests. And all the other lobbies, from the oil companies and the weapon manufacturers, they all have to decide and lobby with each other, to be in touch with each other, to see, okay, what's the best course of action that we could either benefit and profit, or we prevent any damage to our industries. So obviously at times they will be pushing for conflict, at times they'll be pushing for de-escalation, because if they need the oil prices to go up for a little bit, but then if the weapon manufacturers want to make more money, then of course call for conflict is usually the normal course of action. Let's just quickly double check the latest live feed that we have to see what is going on. Yeah, there again, the Hagari, Daniel Hagari, of course, the spokesperson for the IDF, has come out to say that Hezbollah, we have evidence that they are using civilian homes as a cover for their weapons. Something that, of course, the Ham Bottom in Gaza have been doing for a long time. And now, obviously, it's not a surprise that Hezbollah are now doing a similar thing as well. So we now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 areas as we speak getting targeted by the IDF in Lebanon. Many of them obviously still have the directly located the Hezbollah bases, but a lot of them on that list are residential areas that Hezbollah are hiding in. Obviously, a lot of people who have now evacuated. This goes against everything that Hezbollah wanted, because the idea that they have been trying this in Gaza, the idea was, if we have the civilians, if they force the civilians to stay in their homes, in their residential areas, then we can hide amongst them, and we always have our tunnels anyway. And when Israel hits, then we could just say, oh, look, civilians, martyrs, right? But the one thing that could ruin that plan is if the populace in that area all leave, because the actual Islamists have two options. They could either also leave with the civilians and pretend that they are civilians, right? They could also all leave towards Syria, as what they're doing, people in Lebanon. The problem with that option is that you are literally leaving your territory, leaving your posts, the bases that you have, which means the IDF could just walk in and be like, hello guys, there's no one here. Done. And they could get in touch with the Lebanese government and work together to wipe them out. The second option would be, oopsie, everybody's left. It's just now us in residential buildings. So they're going to have to go back into their holes and in the tunnels and caves that they have, which means they won't be able to fight back. So if people in Gaza had done that over the last 11 months, everything would have been easier. But the reason that a lot of people in Gaza didn't do that, one chunk of people in Gaza have already been brainwashed to support Hamas. The other chunk were being forced, guns to their heads, by Hambottom to stay in their residential areas. They were being used as human shields. That's the issue. But of course, people in Lebanon, they're not going to F around. They say, well, IDF said we have to leave. We are leaving. We're not staying here. Because they don't have any loyalty to Hezbollah. Why would they? There's no reason. Hezbollah hijacked parts of Lebanon, and they're just there as uninvited guests, basically. Invaders. The Iranians want Israel to stop as they are leaving too. Many goats are lonely. Well, the thing about the Iranian regime and the people at the top of the regime is that they have had their backup plans for years. And some of it was revealed about 10 years ago. When the uprising, the more protests started against the regime all those years ago, they realized that they need to have backup plans. Some places in South America, that includes Cuba, Venezuela, some parts in Russia, but of course it really depends on the situation with Russia, because if some sort of peace talk is going to happen between Russia and the West, then Russia will be basically forced not to bring the Iranian regime into those countries. And there was a plan also for a lot of the Iranian IRGC officials to also flee to Canada. Yes, Canada, the liberal democracy of Canada. Not a communist country like Venezuela or Cuba or North Korea. No, Canada were ready to accept them until a year ago, when the whole story came out that the Iranian regime have a backup plan to go to Canada, and you already have IRGC members in Canada. Then even Justin Castro Trudeau was forced to say, oh, maybe we shouldn't accept them. Maybe? You traitor? What were you even thinking? Now, we know a lot of the Western establishments have been infiltrated, but not to this level. This is an actual betrayal of Canadian people. Chen from Israel. I live in Kirek Bialik, saying my city was bombed many times today. But we Israelis are strong and will remain strong. This donation is for all the amazing people on the chat who support us. Thank you very much, sir. And I hope you stay safe, and your family and everybody else. Any chance of collaborating with David Wood, an apostate prophet? Actually, we've been in touch. We've been texting each other with the apostate prophet. We were going to do something a while ago, and then things happen. Actually, I need to message him back. So thank you for the reminder. Concerning the Islamists in the UK, US, and the EU. Yep, we shall do that. Canadians waiting to throw Trudeau out. Canada, absolutely. Soon, guys, soon. Super chat from Steve. Thank you, Steve, for the support from the US. And Shankar says that Iran is paper tiger, only talking cowards. Absolutely. Yeah, true. There is this issue with, you can also say the same about Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah. He doesn't have any power. The guy is so fat, he can't even run away if he's captured. So how can you expect him to do anything? And he's also just a puppet of the supreme leader of Iran. He's simply the spokesperson. And he was basically put in charge of the operations of IRGC in the whole of the Middle East over the last few years after Qasem Soleimani of the IRGC was wiped out and eliminated by Donald J. Trump. And Hassan Nasrallah is not professional enough to be able to run the whole region. And that's why everything's been a mess. That's why, at least according to what we know, again, it might just be a lie, but when it came out after the 7th of October that Hambottom in Gaza didn't actually tell the Hezbollah's gone in Lebanon about the exact plan of the invasion of Israel. Now, it might be a lie, but it could also be true. Because nobody respects Hassan Nasrallah. Nobody. But Sapphire says he was a spoiled dog of the IRGC. Yeah. We still don't actually know if he's alive, because he's been very quiet. There's been messages coming on his behalf. It's the same with the Yahya Sinwar. Oh, no, we did see, obviously, Hassan Nasrallah on camera a few days ago, but it's not the same. It could be AI, you never know. But the Yahya Sinwar is still missing, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody knows. We almost have 9,000 people watching this live. Thank you very much for all the support. Make sure to click on the like button to help us. Let's just quickly check the latest updates for you guys, because obviously it's all coming out. There's some tensions inside Israel as well, and this is getting a little bit embarrassing. A lot of people in Israel are furious with this. The left-wingers and the ultra-Orthodox are out protesting against the Israeli government in Israel, and a lot of people are saying, now is not the time. We are literally at war. The northern part of Israel is at war, it's under attack, and you are in Tel Aviv protesting, especially about the left-wingers in Israel. But the ultra-Orthodox protesters, obviously, they've also been clashing with the police because they don't want to defend their country. The ultra-Orthodox protesters are fascinating creatures in Israel, ladies and gentlemen. But apparently the police have gone a little bit too harsh. So the police departments have now opened an investigation into the police being a little bit too violent and aggressive with the ultra-Orthodox protesters. I could say so much. All right. Nirav says that we Hindus support the Jews and Israel. Glory to Israel. Well, thank you, India, for that. I don't know why I'm saying thank you on behalf of Israel. Anyway, Iran's taken Biden's advice because they want Kamala to win the election. So, up to a point, yes. But I don't think they would actually directly take the advice. They're not going to say, thank you, America. We're going to do what you told us to do. They're going to make it seem like it's their idea. So tonight's announcement by the Iranian president saying, yeah, we don't actually want war. Let's just talk and be friends. And also saying we should do nuclear talks. It's simply because of all the pressure. It's not Biden's government directly talking to them. They've been going around using proxies. They used Switzerland. They used Egypt. They used UAE to send a message to Iran and saying it's in the interest of everybody for now to pause. And Iran knows that they can now use it as leverage, because they can now say, well, you want us to stop escalation. We know why, because Biden and Kamala Harris don't want to lose the election. If conflict happens now, they will lose the election. Prices will go up, escalation, bad. But Iran could now think, well, we now know what they want. So we know what could happen, which is Trump winning. And Iran don't want Trump winning, obviously. So now they're going to put pressure on the Americans, saying, can we have a nuclear discussion now? Please, please, please. Now. Again, it's a stupid idea because, as I said, Trump could just come into power and just rip it apart and just cancel the whole thing again. But they have no other option. Noah says, you say thank you on behalf of us because you are our voice. Thank you. Oh, so lovely. Now the conspiracy theory that I'm funded by Mossad is going to escalate. Where is my Mossad money? Come on, guys. Come on. If anyone is watching from Mossad, come on. Let's see if he has any more updates. Okay, Biden has come out to speak. This is actually Biden. He's sitting in the Oval Office, actually speaking. He's actually awake and speaking, saying, "We will discuss our efforts to end the war in Gaza." Oh, he's making a joke. And a number of regional issues. I've been briefed on the latest developments in Israel and Lebanon. My team is in constant contact with their counterparts, and we are working to de-escalate in a way that allows people to return to their homes safely. And I'm gonna show something. As I was reading the quote, I'm gonna show what Biden was actually doing when he was saying those words, because they were very proper sentences. He was reading from a piece of paper. That, although this screenshot looks like he's sleeping, but he's actually awake. He was reading from his note. It was 3 sentences. The man can't even have normal. He can't talk like a normal person. Oh, so embarrassing.